shot, Henry, to break down that win from Team Coast. And well, there's a lot to break down because honestly, we didn't see a lot of Team Coast in the beginning of the game. A lot of pressure coming down from the side of LoLPro.
Oh yes, I do have to give some props to Heaventime. I think his Lee Sin ganks was fantastic. He picked up that early sidestone, which Deficio pointed out he's done in the Challenger Series previously. And he was omnipresent. He was in every lane multiple times. You could argue the effectiveness of the ganks, but you can't deny the presence and the pressure that he applied. It also helped in shutting down Jax in that top lane.
Yeah, I mean, the top lane, Haunter, dominant performance on Shyvana, way ahead of Jax on Rooks for so long in that game. Also looking towards the mid lane, the spears from Lord were so strong, and you literally didn't even know Golden Glue was in the game at the start of that match.
No, you really didn't. We've seen Shyvana into Jax matchups in the past going quite ghastly, but it looks like Heaventime is able to evolve and perform very well, as his namesake implies.
Well, we're actually going to take a look at a replay to illustrate what we've been talking about, and also what you touched on, the fact that normally if you're a Nidalee versus a Ziggs, you shouldn't be able to put down that kind of pressure and not be as dominant in team fights, but that did happen. So let's pull the first replay up on the screen where we see that LoLPro gets the upper hand.
Yeah, so in this particular replay, it's very early on. You can actually see that LoLPro are quite even on gold with Team Coast. So let's roll this clip out. And the most important thing is how Santorin and Mashmi are just miles away from the rest of their team. They get completely singled out in a 2v4, which eventually is a 2v5 thanks to teleports. And Coast just weren't on the same page. They were forced to react to a dragon play, they were out of position, and LoLPro punished them. I also feel that up until 25-30 minutes, Golden Glue's Mega Inferno Bombs were not particularly impactful. And if you notice Golden Glue on this full retreat, yes, cooldowns are a thing, but he's offered very little in the way of resistance and damage on the way in and on the way out. So I do feel it took a long time for Golden Glue to scale up.
Yeah, but as happens when you have a Ziggs on your team and a Jax, when the other team does give you time, you can turn the tides by throwing out those mega Inferno bombs all over the map and grabbing some CS. And as we've seen in a team fight that we're going to bring up on the screen right now, later in the game, it does show that a scale team does a lot better. We're going to take a look at that in a second, but it feels like Coast got going and they were just waiting for that moment to get back in the game.
Yeah, they scaled very well. All the time for Rux on Jax.
Absolutely, and it's like you said about Jax, Rooks on Jax. He had a few misplays, let's face it. He went in 1v5 for some god-awful reason. I don't know what he was thinking now. The rest of his team may be thinking the same thing. He actually got out alive, by the way, in that one. It was only the support that died. But honestly, overall, it's always the classic. You can't let a Jax go late game. He will become a problem. And he was getting on towards the AD carry Hoodstomp every single time.
Yeah, I also feel like LoLPro, their composition, as Deficio pointed out in Picks and Bans, was somewhat confusing. Lee Sin and Shyvana wanted to jump in, that's fine. Nidalee wants to throw spears from the back. Morgana's good for peel, but you have this like sort of 2-1-2 line where you've got two people that can go forward, two people that go sit in the back line. And it didn't allow LoLPro to create opportunities. They hit 35 minutes, they got to Inhibitor, and they couldn't get further because they couldn't deal with Ziggs, Jax, Elise, and Thresh at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're actually going to take a look at one of those late game team fights where Coast was able to get the upper hand. Let's get that up on the screen, where it was, well, too late for LoLPro to fight back.
Yeah, so let's roll this clip out. Now, this was the first Baron that Coast were able to secure after a very successful team fight. They group up very effectively after catching Lod, and he's instantly in the fight. And thanks, of course, to Coast having the superior positioning, they just focus down the targets, they stay tightly knit, they end up getting, if memory recalls, 3 kills in this scenario, and then grab the Baron. And this was the moment where Coast began stalling out. They slowed the game down, and they began to dictate the pace.
Yeah, and it's just fantastic play. You know, Santorin as well didn't even die in a 65-minute game or something like that. Crazy stats. However, he also didn't have much of an impact on the start of the game, so that's definitely something he needs to step up. And it's something we saw when he played for Coast back in Europe.
Or stands for Cloud9 Eclipse, of course. But what do we take of this going into the next game? I kind of feel like for a team like Team Coast, as you said, with players on there that have so much experience, they can take this, they can maybe mediate this with their coach immediately, and if the other team comes out with a comp again that doesn't really glue together, this might be the starting point for Coast.
Personally, I think they dodged a bullet in that game. They should have lost that game. Absolutely. LoLPro should have closed that game out a lot earlier. They waited so many times on those Nidalee spears to land. If they didn't land, they didn't attack.
Yeah, I would dare say both teams could probably come out of that one with fairly high mental states because of the fact that Lolpro, they had a great early game, they had a great mid game. They even held out in late against a Jax and a Ziggs. But unfortunately, their composition, I feel, let them down. So with proper picks and bans, they may have the tools they need to get over that final hurdle and pick up a win.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, it is Game 2 between Team Coast and Team Lolpro. We'll be right back.
Let's go. Focus on the game. Let's do this.
Focus. Trying to get in there. They do get heaven time. Low gonna fall as well. Meanwhile, Lod's gonna get locked up there by the cocoon. Have they got the damage to finish off? Yes, they do.
I'm going great. Nice.
Who's down? Ship. I'm dead. You guys might be able to get him.
Nice. Yo, let's go! Go! Mash going low. He will Valkyrie away from the side, but look at the damage Charles takes. Heaven time goes down. Low gonna get locked up. Can't finish off. Haunts now may even go down as well. They don't really